Welcome back to another episode of Trench Study. Titans 7th overall pick JC Latham has put together a very impressive stretch of games. In today's video, I'm going to break down some of the film as well as use stats to give context to the film. After a rough debut where we saw Latham give up 5 pressures, he's only allowed 4 in the last 3 games. Let's take a look at how this 3-game span compares to other first-round tackles' first 3 games after their debuts. So I put together a couple graphs for us to look at to put this into context. And here we're going to have JC Latham. And on the right side, we're going to be talking about pressure prevented. It'll be the percentage of snaps that they don't allow pressure, so the higher the better. So you see Latham right here with the 96.3 and Alt right here with the 96.2. Then you have Anton Harrison with the 96.7. However, both of these guys are in the 2 sacks allowed section, while Latham is in the 0 sacks allowed section. So among all first-round tackles for the last 2 years, JC Latham is the only one to have 0 sacks allowed and have a pressure percentage over 96. So here you can see the names of the rest of the tackles. You have Broderick Jones here, Talise Fuaga, Paris Johnson Jr., Anton Harrison, Joe Alt, Tyler Guyton, Darnell Wright at the bottom here. I should also note that this doesn't necessarily predict how the rest of their careers are going to play out. It's just a small sample size showing how they started their careers. Now let's move on to the second chart. For whatever reason, they wouldn't let me change the X and Y axis, so it's all in this corner right here. The Y is going to be the pass block grade, and the X is going to be the run block grade. And as you can see here, Latham ranks pretty high above the rest with pass blocking grade. I think Joe Alt came the second closest with a 68.9. However, Joe Alt does have the highest run blocking grade by a pretty good margin. But since mainly I'm talking about pass protection here, you can see that Latham is clearly at the top. And here we have another graph to show that. It's the same statistics and data. So for this graph here, the blue grade is going to be their pass block grade and the red grade is going to be their run block grade. And you can see that Latham has the highest grade of any grade. Alt comes close with his run blocking grade here. But Latham clearly stands out when it comes to pass protection. He's all the way here. The second closest is right here. You can also see that Alt and Fuaga are putting together very impressive seasons themselves. Now let's get into some of the film here. First play is going to be a pass blocking rep. He's able to stuff the guy. So Latu's going to start with what looks like a 45-degree set here. Get on the guy pretty quickly. Land with that left hand, good hand placement with the left hand. He's going to keep that grip on him, reattach that right hand and lock him up. Uses play strength and grip strength, which was excellent in college and seems to be transferring over. Just a very clean rep from Latham. Never really in doubt. On this next rep, we're going to be focused on a run play, and he's going to open up a lane for Tony Pollard to go for about 50, 60 yards. As you see right there. So Latham's going to be tasked with getting into the defensive tackle here, the 3 technique, and then working up to the linebacker and sealing him off here. It doesn't quite work out that way, but he still does open up the lane. So Latham comes off the ball and does a great job of staying low and hitting in the middle of this guy's body. Right here. Drives him off there. And Skronski's able to throw him down. From there, he's going to try to work up to the linebacker. He gets held up a little bit. So he's going to drive him the other way instead. Still is able to create the lane. And Pollard's gone. So the linebacker does flow quickly here, but he gets caught up on the defensive tackle a little bit right there. And from here, he's going to adjust and just drive him out instead of sealing him inside. Creates the lane. Here we have a pass blocking rep against Chop Robinson, who was the Dolphins' first round pick, and he ran a 4.49 at the combine this year. So he's a very fast rusher. Now keep in mind that Latham is about 6'6", 350 pounds, and he's still going to be able to shut off the corner from a 4.49 speed rusher. Just quick feet, is able to get out there. Doesn't have to try to reach or try to drag him around. He's able to ride with them. Keeps riding with them. And then from here, Chop misses his rip. So Latham's able to just dump him. So Chop's going to come off the ball and try to go for a bull rush here. And Latham's going to get that hook on him. So there's the hook. From there, Chop's going to try to rip his hand away. Right here. Rip his arm away. You can see it coming up now. But it doesn't actually hit his arm. So Latham's able to keep that hook. And he's just going to be able to dump him. Very good rep again. On this rep, you're going to see a pretty nasty finish from Latham. And this is one of the things I loved about him coming out of college. He always looks to finish his run blocks. Now, I would like to see Latham drive him out and seal a little better on this play. But Chop gets that long arm into him and tries to work across. And from there, Latham just shoves him down. Here we have another combo block. This one doesn't work quite as well. You see they're not going to get as much movement as they'd like from the defensive tackle. Looks like they're going to have the guard pulling here to pick up the linebacker when he tries to fill the gap, and he's going to try to seal him off here. Then they're going to have Latham and Skoronski working on a combo block here. So Latham's supposed to get into the tackle, push him over to Skoronski, would take him over and seal here. And then Latham would work up to the second level and try to seal off this linebacker. You're going to see Latham doesn't get low enough on this play. So he's just trying to block at his shoulder pads instead of from under him. And he's not going to be able to move him much at all. That guy holds his ground for the most part. He's a little late getting up to the linebacker. They still do create enough of a lane for him to gain 5 yards, but it's not exactly what they wanted. And then there's a nice finish at the end. On this next rep, it's just going to be a beautiful down block from Latham. Completely seals this guy off. Latham's going to come down and get one hand on each side of this guy's shoulder. You see it here. Then he locks his hands up. From here, you're not going to get it back. Latham just too strong and has too strong grip strength. Seals him off, creates the lane. On this next play, you're going to see a good example of Latham knowing his responsibility and having good eyes. You're just going to see the linebacker shoot the gap immediately. And Latham's going to be able to recognize that and pick him up. So he starts like he's going for the defensive tackle. Notices the linebacker. Comes off the defensive tackle. Picks up the linebacker. Seals him off. So very good eyes from a rookie and knowing his assignments if somebody does come through a gap. Now it wasn't all perfect and you're going to see that here on this stunt. Skoronski and Latham weren't able to handle this one. The defensive tackle is going to be working up to Latham here. And the edge rusher is going to do a little hesitation here and then try to work into Skoronski. Latham's not going to be able to recognize it quick enough. You see he's focused on the edge rusher. By the time he realizes the guy's already into his chest pretty much. And he's going to be able to move him out of the way and get to the QB. So you'd like to see this operation a little cleaner between the two, and you will see it later on in the game. I'll show one rep of them having a good stunt pickup. This next rep is just going to be a mental error in the run game. You see he's not allowed to cut back because his guy is there. So Latham's just tasked with getting in front of this guy and sealing him off. But you're going to see he's a little late off the ball, so he tries to make a big jump. And he overjumps. Calais is able to swim over top of him and cut off the cutback lane, even though Pollard's able to get around him. On this next rep, there's not going to be too much to break down. It's just a mean finish, which I like to see. There's the finish. Dumps him down. So Latham's not actually going to have to do much here. Chop Robinson does most of the work for him, takes himself out of the play. Then Latham just seals him off right here. And then he's going to dump Chop Robinson when he tries to get around. Here you have a pretty nice rep against Chop Robinson in the pass game. Able to put him on his ass again. So Chop's going to get into him with the bull rush here. As he does. And Latham's going to push him wide. So you can see his right hand. He's going to push him to get him a little wider. Right there. And while that's happening, Chop is trying to pick up his right hand for a forklift. So you can see their hands low right now. Chop's trying to grab it, lift it up in the air, which he does right here. You can see it right there. Latham's hand is off of Chop, but Latham's going to be able to reestablish that hand right here and just drive him down. Very nice rep from Latham. Here's the better example of a stunt pickup that I was talking about earlier. They're just going to be able to cleanly pick up both guys. The main improvement I see from this rep is Skoronski. He's able to get hands on Campbell quick and stop his rush, knock him back a bit, which gives Latham more time to pick him up, which he does there. And he's strong enough, he'll be able to anchor down on most guys. To end this video, I just have a couple run plays that won't require much of a breakdown. You're going to see him be able to climb to the second level here and seal off that block. So as I said, not really much to break down, but for a 6'6", 350-pound guy to be moving smoothly like this, I really like to see it. He hasn't shown too many limitations in the run game yet. And the last rep is going to be a seal at the second level on 45. He's going to climb through, seal him off, be able to adjust, seal him off right there. But I'm going to show you what I found most impressive about this rep. You see right here, he doesn't have the right angle on him, but watch how quickly he's able to change that. One hop, gets him adjusted, turns him in. Maybe a slight hold there, as I said, but still, he has him and then just seals him off. That's going to wrap up my JC Latham breakdown. Thank you for watching this episode of Trench Study. Let me know in the comments what you think about the incorporation of charts and stats. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, make sure to like and subscribe for more. And as always, peace.